This video is sponsored by War Thunder. The walls are closing in, and soon everyone will be crushed to death. How long can they possibly hope to survive, as their home is slowly destroyed and replaced by stone? Meet Hund Feuerverato, party master and survivor of apocalyptic meteors, alongside his two best bros, Braff Braffington and Zeep Glorp. They decided to challenge themselves by starting a new settlement on RimWorld. But obviously, with a twist. To promote Zeep's new masonry company, Rockhard Incorporated, this colony will be under the constant threat of being squished. Squished how? Well, after every day in game, I will be adding a layer of stone walls around the perimeter of the map. Anything and anyone caught outside will be deleted. Unfortunately, the first thing we must do is some math. Now I know, math is for nerds, and I hate it too. That's why I went to college for finance, aka easy math. The map size I am playing on is 225 by 225 meters, or I don't know, yards. But you see this gray outline? We can only build within this zone. That way, we can't block lusty pirates from spawning. So our buildable area is actually 205 by 205 undisclosed units. Given this length and width, I can deduce that if we add one layer of walls each day, it will take us 104 days in game before it is tighter than my fart box. Just kidding, that shit is loose as fuck. I preemptively take some measurements to find where the center of the map is. That way, I can mark the final square undisclosed unit of land. I think we will want this area to be our farm, as we can live without parties or medicine, but we can't afford for our boys to go hungry. While Zeep plows Mother Earth unprotected, the rest of the party gathers the supplies from their crash landing, and they begin converting these ruins right next to the crash site into a temporary home. It might not be a nice bed and breakfast, but at least we finish the day with a roof over our heads and an initial basic farm. Yeah, we're actually off to a pretty shit start. The sun rises on a new day for our group, until we're rudely interrupted by an alarm. Using a pre-existing alarm mod, I can remind myself to build a new section of the wall at the same time we crash landed, while also leaving myself encouraging notes. I boot up dev mode, and then god mode. After selecting my choice of color, I begin encasing my playable area in stone. I do also have to unclaim the wall to prevent vagrants from defiling it. Though the walls have not yet been defiled, part of our area has, as we are now cut off from the outside world, and have lost a total of 816 playable tiles. The team desperately needs to make up for the losses. They gather resources, as we will need a lot of shit if we're going to advance through the research tree. And although the research bench is the first thing we construct, there is a slight hiccup. None of my three amigos got a lot going on behind those pretty eyes. Zeep happens to be the smartest of the bunch with only 2 intelligence. Hopefully we can recruit someone more smarter in the coming days. The third day begins with a misspelled alarm message, putting on display my level 2 intelligence. But it also begins with a second wall expansion. Now we don't want 2 Wall 2 Furious to fully block off the outside world, as we want raiders to be able to enter the map. Thus begins my deconstruction of anything in the wall's entryways, which there are 4 of. And just an FYI, the wall cut through the ancient danger on the map, which houses cryosleep pods containing powerful NPCs with advanced technologies. But I'm not a cheating bitch, so I'm not going to allow my trio to leave the perimeter of the wall, giving up my chance to recover the tech like your parents gave up on their dreams when you were born. However, we mustn't dwell on it, and we need to work hard in order to survive. Speaking of survival, come day 5, I had a realization. Since the wall will destroy everything it covers, we're starting to lose precious mineable resources in the shrinkage. So Zeep makes a mad dash to mine up as much of those valuable resources at the edge of the map as he can. Well, actually he tucks himself into bed for the group's midday siesta. When that is over, he springs out of bed and has lunch. Okay man, sure, get your nutrition. But now he dashes for those resources, desperately collecting as much as he can before the wall grows. As when my alarm goes off, those resources are lost. Mining isn't the group's only concern, as our food supplies are lower than a grandma's titties. Our mighty field of potatoes isn't quite ready to be ripped from the dirt. So Hund begins hunting small game around the map, with Zeep eagerly frying them up. You can tell Hund is clearly good at this. When he isn't missing shots, Hund starts constructing a new kitchen for the crew. Or he would be if we weren't interrupted by our first raid. Unfortunately for the raider, they were spawned at a blocked off entrance. Hey, I don't want to hear you complain. I only destroy the blockages in the walls row. So the raider loops around until they find an open entrance, only to be greeted by Zeep with the Jugular Destroyer 9000. As the raider squirms on the ground, with their jugular thoroughly destroyed, we peruse her stats, and yeah, they're not to our liking. On the bright side, she no longer has to worry about her drug problem. At the crack of dawn on day 8, the alarm cries out like a child begging for candy in the grocery store checkout. Yet this time, while shrinking the map, I noticed a rodent sandwiched between the walls. Whoop. I have committed a sin and have covered up the evidence, that way nobody will know of the deeds which have transpired today. But that isn't the only animal that will be killed today, as a wolf has murdered our pet waste rat and has begun snacking on their corpse. Hey bub, that rat is ours, and if anyone's going to eat it, it's gonna be us. Yet when life takes something away, it usually gives you something else in return. We accept Lumpy with open arms, as with his stats, we can shift meal prep responsibilities away from Zeep. And he looks so excited to be working in the planet's 22nd least sanitary kitchen. A brand new day awaits, as we have made it 10 days into the challenge. Nobody thought we could make it this far. By nobody, I mean my mom. Despite her negativity, we have fun activities planned, such as crushing another animal. Well, it got pushed out of the way, so I had to take its life manually. We also got up to some mining of important tech components, which Zeep didn't bring back to base, so the Wall of Death was built over them. Hey, don't feel bad, bub. To cheer you up, we'll let you use that slick tongue of yours for once to rizz up our first visitors. Once the totally legal and legit arms dealers enter the map, Zeep scurries over to check out their wares. Unfortunately, the only thing they were willing to buy from us was a wooden club we had inherited, which we can sell to them for 59 cents? You cheap ass bitches! But give me my 59 cents. And get the fuck out of here before I kiss you on the cheek, like me and the guy watching this video named Michael do every Thursday around 2:37 p.m. at Chuck E. Cheese. Though we can't get enough of each other, our colonists can, as their sleeping conditions are packed tighter than sweaty people in a Michael Bay movie. We can't be having these debuffs working against us, so after Hund finishes the kitchen, he begins construction on some apartments. These are gonna take a few days to build, but in the meantime, I'm certain we're gonna have lots of fun. Like desperately mining the last of the resources before the wall reclaims them, harvesting taters, cooking taters, and coming to the realization that this is all we're gonna eat until the end of time. But also, crafting a new leather shirt for Lumpy, as he was tired of his quote, ratty apparel. And I am certain that that leather garment will feel amazing in this 90-degree heat. Ooh, I almost forgot the most important thing to happen. I got raided by my ranked teammates. However, they made their way into the wall's entrance as my alarm went off. Anything inside the wall when that alarm goes off? Well, okay, come on now. As for you, I'm gonna say you are more outside the gray line than in. You better thank that dump truck of an ass for saving you this time. But what comes next is possibly the most boring fight in RimWorld history. After their pathetic outing, I check his stats, and oh boy, that's at least a 7th grade reading level. You're an all-star compared to my guys. Hund hastily finishes an apartment to the minimum legal requirement, allowing us to set the bed inside to be able to hold prisoners. Lumpy then captures our new friend Vass, and we get him started with recruitment. That way, once recruited, he can use his intelligence to help us progress with research. Like, we have zero progress. I'm so bad at this game. Though I am not a good RimWorld player, I can appreciate how well built this game is. Just like War Thunder. As if built in a lab by top scientists, War Thunder was synthesized as the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made, available on PC, consoles, and mobile devices. That's right, if you find yourself bored out of your mind, say at your grandparents' funeral, you can whip out your phone, crank up the volume to 11, and join over 70 million other players in bonding over bloodshed. With graphics, sound, and visual effects so beautiful, it will destroy your attraction to IRL people, forcing you to crank it to over 2,000 different tanks, planes, helicopters, and warships. I personally love the vast amounts of vehicle customization to show the other players that I'm just a silly little guy. So what are you waiting for? I'm inviting you to join the party and download War Thunder today for free. And if you are a new or returning player that hasn't played for 6 months, use my link pinned in the comments or the description below for a massive bonus pack available to both PC and console players. You don't want to miss out on this limited time opportunity, as it includes the Eagle of Valor vehicle decoration, 100k silver lions, and 7 days of premium account. While waiting for Vass's recruitment, we are prompted with a quest to temporarily take on some refugees that might stick around permanently. But more importantly, they will work for free. Ooh, daddy likes that. So I accept their proposal, and 2 refugees appear, a young boy named Raj and a naked man named Anarchist. Don't you think that attire is a little inappropriate to be wearing in front of a kid? We do overlook this transgression as Anarchist is a good fighter, so welcome in. As excited as I am to take in someone who is definitely on a list, I notice an hour or so later, he was hunting outside the wall's boundaries. Uh-oh, looks like Uncle Kibbles made a mistake by not setting our visitor's playable area to that of the restricted area I set within the wall. Whoopsie, we have to execute you. It isn't all bad because we can still put the kid to work. Woo! Child labor! On day 18, Hund finishes construction of the apartments, allowing his friends to move into them. And with the addition of some nice bedroom furniture, we not only remove the disturbed sleep debuff, but gain a slightly impressive barracks mood buff. I also noticed, like every woman I've ever talked to, they have low expectations. We're at that stage where we need to make some preparations, as we are getting closer to winter. Our colonists will need to make some fancy jackets if they want to remain comfortable when the temperature drops. Unfortunately though, we don't have a lot of leather. So Hund returns to the wilds, with slightly better aim this time. Yet clothes aren't the only priority when prepping for the winter time. We also expand our farm. Surprisingly, farming isn't completely safe. Don't worry, my boy, we will defend our child worker at all costs, because child labor is a human right. Also, we can cut up the wolf's corpse and get more pelts to make sweet jackets. There is a pressing concern with the encroaching wall. As the wall is built, we are losing out on harvestable lumber, which we are currently using to power our wood fire generators. So eventually, we want to switch from these to a more sustainable option. No, absolutely not. I want these Toxifier generators. And when Vaz is finally recruited, he can help us research them. Vaz also took over Hund's hunting duties as he is a much better shot. Oh fuck! Once he's patched up, he continues his research. On day 26, while getting my morning shot for the video, I was interrupted by the completion of the generator's research. These generators pollute the map while running, but I figured that's not really a big issue to me since the threat of the expanding wall means we don't really have to worry about climate change. We still build them a bit outside our base though, so our people are relatively safe from the pollution. It was unfortunate that we had to kill our naked hunk earlier, but a quest appeared offering a replacement. All we have to do is accept a deserter from the strongest faction in the game, the Empire. I'm not really too worried about fighting them, but I am worried about our beds being full and that Raj's quest timer is expiring soon. He isn't guaranteed to stay, so we instruct Zeep to schedule the child an appointment to extract his valuable organs with our impromptu doctor, Braff Braffington. He's very qualified. Man's played Operation before. Now that we have secured future value out of our temporary resident, I accept the deserter. Asfo arrives, bearing a gift of cocaine, which Hund very much appreciates. And he also appreciated Asfo helping to swiftly deal with the pursuing Imperial. Singular. They sent one guy. After the alarm goes off on day 30, I had an epiphany. We once thought of the wall as our enemy, but we can use it to our advantage, as the attackers have to come through one of 4 entrances. Hund places spike traps and barriers to injure and slow any future raiders, as well as placing cover around our base so we have some protection as we shoot at the oncoming barbarians. And I know what that silly little brain of yours is thinking. Won't they be destroyed as the wall expands? Good job, you're so smart for thinking of that. But you see, I can just build more, so it really isn't a problem. At least, not yet. What is a problem is that while Vass was hunting, I noticed most of the animals are now spawning outside the wall. So that has really put a strain on our leather production. But my focus is turned away once again when we receive a quest to take on 2 prisoners in exchange for one of the best weapons in the game. However, the prisoners will require our care for 22 days, so I take some quick measurements to see how long before we're crushed, and yeah, we have time to complete this quest. The prisoners softly land in a bed of rice, but there's no lance. Oh, duh. You get it at the end of the quest. Over 500 hours on this game, by the way. I don't want the possibility of my new prisoners escaping. If you install peg legs and wooden hands on each prisoner, then go back and remove them, it reduces the prisoner's movement and manipulation ability to 0, so they can't do shit except to shit, as they are just torsos. What the fuck was I thinking when I wrote this? Common complications of this procedure by our impromptu doctor include minor lapses in focus leading to injury. It didn't take long before we got to test out our spike traps, which the enemies mostly ignored, like our bullets, as 2 of our colonists are slinging lead at the raiders who just sit there and take it, like the dirty sluts they are, until I guess they got tired of slutting and spread their bloody trails as they ran to fight our units. Our units handled their assault pretty well and... Braff? Where the fuck did he go? He isn't in the top bar. His bed is still here. I checked the message log and I don't see his death. What happened? Well, I guess our next best Dr. Zeep will have to take on his duties. Around day 40, I realized an error in my judgment. The wall is only 13 days away from reaching our beloved pollution poopers. In my infinite wisdom, I destroyed my other power generators, and I don't quite have the components to rebuild them. But I have a plan. Well, more like high hopes things just kinda go my way. We build an art bench and set Asfo, our best artist, to create high-value sculptures that we can sell to trade caravans. That is, if they ever show up. The last time we saw one, my balls were smooth. Yet now that I have hair on my sack, I am better equipped to survive RimWorld's harsh winters, which immediately tries to spread my cheeks and go in raw, with temps reaching the negatives. But get fucked, AI storyteller, all my bitches wear Prada, so the cold doesn't bother them. In the midst of this winter hellscape, our salvation arrives. Oh, look out! Thank God they were able to best the mighty rat. The caravan enters the wall, and once Hund packs up the sculpture, Zeep is sent to talk turkey. We offer the heart of a child, you know, the one Raj donated, Braff's suit jacket, and an okay piece of art. In exchange, we get 37 components and some steel. However, the trade talks were interrupted. Unfortunately for the raiders, they entered the wall at the north entrance, the same entrance the caravan is set up at. The 2 groups engage in mortal combat, while my people continue their work without a care in the world. After the caravan deals with the threat for us, we can scavenge the dropped weapons and capture the downed raiders whose stats we deem desirable. Not much of note happened over the next few days, unless you're considering the blazing flash storm that led directly into a mech cluster that my brave little boys just bum rushed, and we got lucky and made it out more or less without a scratch. It wasn't until day 52, halfway through the challenge, that I began to worry about the wall taking over our first structure. With the wall only a few days away from reaching our toxifier generators, I decided to schedule them for deconstruction, using the components dropped and the ones we bought earlier to rebuild our original wood generators in a more central location. You know, it is kind of amazing we made it this far. The wall looks huge now. I wish other things looked huge, but I mean, now with the ever more frequent Avenger level threats, I think it is time we get serious about defense. Starting with recruitment. A transport pod crashed in our colony, but we don't want you to join us, as we already have a prisoner in the war crime acceptance pipeline. Plus, you got the wimp trait, which kinda blows. So, thank you for understanding. As for equipment, Vaz built plate armor and researched long blades, allowing us to equip our compadres with better armor and high damage weapons. Speaking of new weapons, spring has begun and our quest has ended. You know, the one with the mutilated prisoners. I hope you two had fun. I know we did, because we got a psychic shock lance which is placed into Zeep's care, which he gets to try out the very next day, with the help of our recently recruited prisoner, Sovaz. I'm not really vibing with that name, so instead, let's call him Ben Affleck. To honor our recent victory, we install a new sculpture titled Ideas of Zeep, which depicts Zeep leaning over Raj's grave with a thirsty expression. Our guy Zeep getting hot and bothered over some kid's bones. Yeah, I'm sorry man, you gotta go. Yet right as he leaves, we are attacked. After seeing the injuries we sustained in this battle, I realized Zeep was already the backup doctor. So now we have to move on to choice 3 and 4, as Hoond and Lumpy are now co-doctors, as they are tied with 1 medical skill each. But physical damage wasn't the only pain dealt. Some of us are also reaching our mental breaking points. Ben Affleck's insulting spree wasn't that bad, until it made Asfo snap and exit the wall to do some animal abuse. Not cool, bro. Are you happy now, Ben Affleck? Because of you, we are down to 4 people. You know, Argo wasn't even that good. Well, would you look at that? Replacements have arrived. I wasn't going to recruit them until I saw that they're a low-wage worker, which gave me a little chub, so I guess we can recruit them so they can die for us later on. Day 65, the day I was taken from both sides. In the north, a mad yak, and to the south, 2 elite Imperial warriors, one of which is carrying one of the best melee weapons in the game. Remember, they are only attacking us because I took that quest to get Asfo, but then the good Daredevil had to go and make them leave. So now we have to fight some souped up super soldiers. Oh fuck, not again Vass. In this dire time, Ben uses the last charge of the shock lance to take the Imperials down. When the dust settles, Ben carries Vass back to the med bay while Hoond tends to Lumpy. That is, until I remembered the Mad Yak, which has my other colonists trapped. So Hoond makes his way back to help Ben defeat the wild beast. Lumpy was supposed to help, but is moving kinda slow. Oh my god. Don't worry, we'll get you a nice peg leg. There isn't gonna be a peg leg. Once Ben Affleck has removed the witnesses and Vaz recovers, he equips the Imperial's plate armor, shield belt, and Zeus hammer, as Vaz is the best equipped to carry these weapons. Maybe it was the hectic battle, or maybe it was the other mental breakdown from Mr. Affleck, but I haven't been paying attention to the wall and it has started consuming our storage room. Frantically, we begin scrapping everything that is in danger the next time the wall grows. When the coast is clear for now, Hoon starts construction on a new storage room towards the center of the map, while the others begin transferring our supplies between the buildings. This is when I realize we are low on wood. We have to make sacrifices if we want to make it to the end, which means recycling everything we don't need. But also, we want to salvage the walls and the stone floors because we can use those building materials later. Day 69, the coolest day. But the only thing exciting that happened was a close call, as when the alarm went off, Vass was salvaging stone floors right next to where the wall was going to be built. In contrast, on day 70, we safely tore up the last of our original building. When Movan is convinced to join our kooky suicide pact, we equip him with armor and give him a sword, which he barely knows how to use. But now we have 5 people, and it's getting kinda cramped. To make more room, as the wall is closing in, I preemptively recycle part of the food storage and kitchen. I do figure though, if we have to keep destroying our buildings, we should probably build a final home in our central potato field. Using the salvage materials, we build our endgame shelter, complete with cold food storage, its own generator, and shelves for essential supplies. On day 77, I thought up 2 ways the wall could work for us, rather than against. First, I could be putting my trash at the edge of the wall to be swiftly removed. Second, I can block off the wall's entrances with my own stone bricks. As when the wall expands, I still have to delete some of my new barrier, but the entrance is still inaccessible. And we can put my theory to the test the next morning, as a raid showed up, but it looks rather small. It might have something to do with our colony's wealth being in a steady decline. These raiders picked the entrance that I have blocked off, but is further contained by natural mountains to the south and that ancient danger to the north. You fools, you fell into my genius trap that can hold you until the alarm goes off and you all die. Or not. Yeah, this wasn't our best fight, but we did come out on top. Oh, now you go off? The stress of the failure trickled down to my people, with a brawl starting. Whoa, no need for weapons, guys. It looks like they listened to me because right after the fight, they threw a party? We expand our big, thick defensive wall with some added girth, and I'm hoping this will help us make it to the end. Other than that, there really isn't much else we can do. To kill time, I guess we can reorganize our storage room and probably get a head start deconstructing the exterior apartments, as they are 1 block away from touching tips with the wall. We also decided to plug a 3rd entryway, that way only 1 path remains unblocked. But as the wall of despair closes in at the top and bottom, we have to make a choice of which building to try to salvage. Obviously, we elect to redesign our apartments, hoping that upon its completion, we can buy our residents a few more days of personal space. The kitchen did give us one last FU. When a caravan arrived in the north, they were blocked by the kitchen's walls, so we had to manually let them inside. But the guy we want to trade with won't come into our parlor. He's in. Ben Affleck, deploy! There's not really much we want to buy, except maybe some medicine. Hear me out, we could spend our remaining dough on some lynxes. I bought 4 lynxes. Smart move? Probably not. The negotiations took up so much time that when the alarm went off on day 87, I was forced to sin harder than when I discovered the hub. When the survivors leave, we schedule the rest of the kitchen for deconstruction. Okay, Movan did not like that decision much. He's like, oh, I can't wait to get out of here and see my favorite kitchen. And I'm like, whoopsie. Fuck, man. Don't you think that was a bit dramatic? We lay down his body at the map's edge, so come daybreak, the wall whisks him away to rock heaven. It's about time we recycle the storage room. Anyone have a problem with that? Seems not. We do need to decide which of these items to save. Obviously the Prada though. That way we can flex on our next visitors. Visitors who are trapped in our girthy blockage. Let's see if they can break through before the morning alarm goes off. Go! You can do it! Unfortunately, they in fact could not do it. That wasn't the only visitors, but this is way more important. Don't fret, viewer-chan. The lynxes got their proper medical care. Less critical to the mission, we also defeated the Imperials, and they dropped a brand new charge rifle for Ben Affleck. The walls are getting a bit too close for comfort. I think it's time we move all the beds into the final shelter. It will be like a little slumber party. We don't have much need anymore for our leftover steel, so we use it to add some more girthage to the barriers. But we can't celebrate the importance of girth, as one of our lynxes has passed from sickness. He was the best of us. It is make or break time, as a wild boom rat somehow snuck its way inside. All of you have failed. But we need to get it outside, as we have hardwood floors, and these things explode when they die. To avoid ending up like Anakin in the Revenge of the Sith, we hold the doors open so the rat can scurry out. I just want to show you what would have happened if it had died inside. Vass, no! Vass, you have zero survival instincts. Completely off topic, but I did discover through Vass that everyone was still sad about Movan's heart attack except Vass. In fact, he was happy about it. The wall is now within 1 block of our shelter. You could say things are getting pretty tight. However, another boom rat appears. Yeah, I think it's time to say goodbye to the outside world, and I gather the forple inside the shelter and seal the doors shut. That way, that dirty rat can't get in. But neither can some of our lynxes, who have to be sacrificed the next day when the alarm goes off. And the wall is now cheek to cheek with our home. We did save one kitty cat though. With the wall touching us where we don't want it to, it is causing our AC unit to be blocked, increasing the temperature in the freezer. Although most of the food is at risk of spoiling, I don't think we have to worry about it for too long, as we are much more concerned with the wall beginning the consumption of our base. We need to move everything closer to the interior, but in our haste, we lose out on some of our food. We also need to clear out any other non-essentials, like our chess set and that statue to Zeep. Apparently the game deems us non-essential too, as when a Muffalo squeezes into our base, it's time to wake up and fight. Hold up, where is my lynx? Oh, he's on a stroll outside the map. Well, goodbye. Day 100. We are shoulder to shoulder now, with the added bonus of no power. We can't turn the lights back on, but we can clear up some space for the survivors. But it seems being stuck in a shrinking map is getting to their heads. It was nice to get some friendly visitors, that is until the alarm goes off and I'm forced to smite them. And the cherry on top, we have to reduce our space even more. Good news though, it is so cold on the map, our food is now frozen and it's not gonna spoil. Bad news, we have to deal with raiders. We don't have anything left to steal, so I don't even know why they're bothering to attack us. I make Vass relinquish his weapon and shield belt to Hund, as I feel he goes down every fight. And when the raiders begin their assault, we get to play repair the wall while they try to break in. I think I'm winning. We did win, and our reward is to keep possession of our shithole house. With conditions so bad, Ben Affleck reaches his breaking point. He is useless to us now, so we place a sleeping spot and move him to the edge of our map, to be taken by the bricks. All that remains is the 3 amigos and the original central brazier. They have a hard choice when dawn comes the next day, as there will only be 1 tile left. Therefore, 1 survivor amongst the 3. Let's not kid ourselves, it's going to be Hund. You know, main character energy, been here since the start type shit. You two can go. With the others gone, and Hund now alone on the last tile, trapped in the stone prison which once was a fraction of its size, it holds memories of the past which feel like only yesterday. But like the others before him, Hund too must be consumed by the wall. Thanks again to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to sign up for free on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, or your mobile device using my link pinned in the comments or video description. And if you are a new or returning player that hasn't played in 6 months on PC or console, you will receive a massive bonus pack including premium vehicles and other delectable treats. And you should check out my last video where I raised an undead army to kill my enemies to impose a monopoly on fruit juice. Content warning, it does contain some nudity.